Hi, Leos. Welcome to your July 2020 reading. Looking forward to seeing what is in store for you this July, which is a couple days away. I've got several decks to pull from. I think we're going to start with the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann and establish sort of the energies that you're going to be dealing with, and then we'll dig in and go into more detail with some aspecting of the cards. Okay, so my Leos, what do we have for you guys? Angels, ancestors, ascended masters, spirit, guide me to news for my Leos. July 2020. Leo, July 2020. Okay, I'm going to just tilt this down a little bit because we're going to be doing a few rows here. So you're starting off with a pretty powerful beginning here, Leo. You've got 3 major arcana cards, so a lot of big energies are at work in July for you. You're heading swiftly towards some sort of victory. You've got the Chariot card. And I'm noticing a pattern with all of the signs, which I find really, really interesting. And the more I do the readings and the more I get through all 12 signs of the zodiac, I am pretty convinced that a lot of the reversals that are popping up, which as I don't always read reversals, but in this case, they've become so prevalent that I feel like I have to take note of them. But I really feel that it's not a negative aspect at all. It's really more of a stall in manifestation. There's a little bit of a stall for everybody across the board. Everybody has been getting reversals, and I think it's because of what's happening right now in the general collective energy of everybody, which is so kind of at the mercy of a lot of these world events like COVID-19 pandemic and things that are going on with the racial injustice in the States and a lot of political things that are swinging here and there. So everybody's personal journey is being affected by the greater journey. So that's why I think some of us feel blocked in ways that we can't quite explain. Also, we're dealing with a lot of heavy astronomical energies right now. Now we're dealing with Mars going into retrograde. And we've got the eclipses that we just went through, which intensified everything. So I think that's the reason why I'm seeing a lot of reversed cards popping up. But anyway, I think that, you're in a very vibrant place right now in your life. I think there's a lot going on. I think you're taking action. I think you're in movement. It's just that it's a little stalled right now. And you're also really connected to your intuition at this time with the High Priestess. I think you're really kind of on point. It's just that the energy is a little muted right now. And this is a very creative and fertile time for you. So you have made very good use of this quarantine time and are ready to birth some new stuff as we start coming out of lockdown. So really strong energies here. Let's see if we can get a little bit more clarity with the Fountain Tarot. Leo, July 2020. Guides, guardians, ascended masters, spirit. Guide my Leos to the messages they need to hear for July 2020. Can you aspect the Chariot, the High Priestess, and the Empress? Okay. I'd like one more if possible for the Empress. Okay. All right, so we've got the Seven of Wands here in the reverse. We've got the Emperor, another major arcana card, and we've got the Page of Swords. So as I look at the Seven of Wands here underneath the Chariot, I'm getting a feeling that you are really taking you're hesitating about something. There's some apprehension or an indecisiveness here. Normally this card in the upright position, right, would signify some sort of defense or unshakable bravery, right? Which is totally in line with you, Leo. But like a conviction over something. But I feel like though that energy is present, at the moment you are sort of hesitating. You're not as convicted as you typically would be because of this energy being held back a little bit right now. So you're just kind of, you've put yourself on pause, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You're not quite in full taking the reins here and going full blown, full speed. You're just sort of in a holding pattern right now. And I have a feeling that this has to do with a work or a career situation. I didn't start the read with any particular focus, whether we were talking about career or love or anything like that. I've been really kind of very fluid with these July reads just to see like what naturally comes out. And but I am getting a real sense that you're gearing up for some big push towards something, some manifestation that has to do with status or your career or your work. And then you've got the Emperor here underneath the High Priestess, which to me means that you have a knowing that you are in command in this situation and that the choices that you're making are the right ones. Even though this is a little muted right now, even though you may not be able to exercise your intuition to the extent that you normally would because of the circumstances in the world right now, your foundation is very strong. You know you're coming from a winner position, okay? What I'm most interested in here is the Empress energy that you've got, and then the Page of Swords underneath it. Because whatever it is that you're putting together or working on, it is something that involves a bit of a risk, of some kind of risk taking. Um, it's some sort of innovation. I don't know, maybe you're coming up with a new app or a new computer program. Um, doesn't necessarily have to be something artistic. It could be a new method in your environment, in your work environment. Perhaps you are a supervisor or a manager of some sort at work, and you have come up with a new way to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic regulations at the office or for your company. Um, or you've because of the current situation come up with a new idea on how to increase productivity with all of the new normal that we're facing, a new methodology. um, but but there's definitely something, and it has to do with your thoughts, your mind. You have come up with this. It's a swords card, which is dealing with thoughts and intellectual innovations. So there's some news relating to this creation, and I think you are behind it. Let me see if I can get a little bit more from the Muse Tarot, which is also by Chris Ann. My Leos. Okay. We've got the Page of Voice. Four of Voices. The World Cosmos. And there was one other that I don't want to neglect. Five of Voices. So interesting. Interesting that once again the one major arcana of these four is in reverse. And again, it's just confirming for me that the world is not spinning at its normal speed for any of us. So the forces that are beyond our control are truly beyond our control at this time. Yeah, there's a lot of innovation involved in whatever this thing that you've created or that you've implemented. There's a lot of satisfaction that you have to provide for many different people. There's also a lot of restlessness in and around this innovation. Again, a lot of cards, that deal with air, with voices, air. This is the swords in the traditional tarot. So, we're once again sorry, I'm trying to figure this out, because you're really getting very similar cards, because these two are pretty much the same. They're both the Page of Swords. So there's a curiosity, there's a curious, restless energy, a thirst for knowledge. Maybe the reason why this page showed up again is that there's actually someone that you have to work with on this project who's younger than you, a younger person who is maybe your assistant or your protege or your mentee or something like that. you have to teach this idea to this person and to others. So there's a degree of, like, I see you standing in front of a podium, or perhaps, in front of a group of people on Zoom, or, you're giving some sort of presentation. There's a lot of pressure. I feel like there's a lot of pressure for you involved in this endeavor. So be mindful of that, and be sure to pace yourself so you don't burn out. There's a lot of responsibility for you right now with your work. It's all going to culminate into a really great completion. I think the project is going to be successful, and I think it's going to come to a successful completion, but not quite yet. Because once again, the world has pressed their finger on the pause button. And then I would say that this last card that popped out at the very, very end, because I was looking for 3, but I took what Spirit gave me. You've got the 5 of Voices. This is an interesting card. As I look at the image of it, the imagery in the card. So this would be like the 5 of Swords in the traditional tarot. And that is sometimes a card of conflict or of fighting, trying to win at any cost, but often the fighting is futile. This could be colleagues at work battling you. Other people may be competing with you for the same sort of recognition, or coming up with competing ideas. Maybe battling for the same position that maybe you're up for promotion, and you're battling against a couple of other people. But the success of this endeavor that you have created, this innovation, is not going to be won easily, but it will be won by you. You will prevail. So a lot of intensity at work this July, Leo. I wish you the best of luck. Please let me know if this resonates for you in the comments below this reading. Let's pull just one more card before I wrap it up for you. The Spirit Animal deck by Colette Baron Reed. Let's see if there's a message here that can kind of just tie everything together. Okay, well, let's see, we've got more than one. I'm going to take all 3 of them. And they are all work related. So Owl Spirit is telling you that you see clearly now. And I find this really interesting because, once again, even though this is an oracle deck, birds relate to air. And I think it's a perfect sort of confirmation of all of the air cards that showed up in your reading, and how much you have to use your mind and your intellect to stay on top of things. You have to stay sharp this month, Leo, at work. You have to stay sharp on the ball. So no bullshit. You got to really see through the bullshit. So I definitely feel that energy is a confirmation. And then we have Frog Spirit, which is telling you clear out the clutter. Again, it's, you know, keeping a clear mind, staying focused, staying on top of your game. And then finally, you've got Koala Spirit, which is Spirit has a plan. So it's just a reminder that, you know, things are going to happen the way they're meant to happen, the way it's meant to unfold. So don't get hung up with these stalled energies that are kind of coming out of the collective. Allow yourself to trust that everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to work out in the perfect time and in the perfect manner. Okay? Like I said, I hope this resonates with somebody. They don't always resonate with everyone, but there may be a grain of it. So if it doesn't work for you, just pass me up and go to another reader and tune into one of their readings. Perhaps that one will speak to you. But for those Leos out there that are caught up at work and planning something big, July is going to be a really interesting month for you, and I think you're gonna really come through in the end very successfully. So good luck, Leos.